Namaste and good afternoon. Welcome to you all on behalf of the Center for Indic Studies. We are very excited to have this workshop on Kriyayoga today. I'll just give you a very brief introduction of the center for those of you who are not very familiar with this center and its activities. Just a very brief overview, and then I'll introduce the speakers. So I would like to acknowledge Dean Madan Anavarjula, who is the Dean of Charlton College of Business, and it's his support that has allowed us to conduct this event. Dean, please have a seat in the front. That's fine if you want to.
No, I'll come in. No problem. I'm just waiting for someone to come.
Okay. So the Center for Indic Studies was founded on campus in the year 2001. And we have, for example, Professor Balram Singh, who was the founder and the founding director of this center. We have Professor T.K. Roy, who has retired for a long time now, but still is very closely associated with the activities of the center and has been a strong supporter throughout. So the center is an independent entity on campus. We are a self-supporting unit, but a very robust and active at that. We do seminars, we do conferences. For example, there is a well-known Vedanta Congress, International Vedanta Congress, which we hold with Jawaharlal Nehru University, JNU, on an alternate basis. So every year in the January, February time frame, it's held at JNU. The next year in summer, July, August, it's held on our campus. So conferences, workshops, seminars, we publish books, we publish journals. For example, there is this journal called AJH, Ayurveda Journal of Health, which we publish. It's published, I think, 4 times a year, Balramji?
Yeah,
4 times a year. Then we founded another journal called International Journal of Indian Culture and Business Management. Now it's kind of a self-supporting journal itself. Professor Singh is one of the associate editors. So we have a robust portfolio. Coming to the theme of today's workshop, because we are Center for Indic Studies, we are very interested in Indic knowledge systems, and we, just to kind of not to boast about us, but this kind of an academic center is very rare. In this country, there are similarly named centers, maybe a handful, many more South Asian centers and things like that, but focusing on Indic knowledge systems, we are a very rare group, one of a very rare group. So in terms of today's workshop, as you all know, yoga is very popular in the United States. There are estimates that about 20 million people practice yoga. But we have to be honest that many practice yoga in terms of just some few body postures, which is a subset of yoga called Hatha Yoga. So more than maybe 80%, all they know about yoga is the small part of Hatha Yoga, that too a small subset of Hatha Yoga. Now, yoga, as you know, is a very expansive term. For example, when we look at the Bhagavad Gita, there are 18 chapters in the Bhagavad Gita, and each chapter is titled as a yoga. And interestingly enough, it begins with what is called as Arjuna Vishad Yoga, the yoga of Arjuna's grief. So even grief can become a yoga if properly understood in that way. I mean, we are not going to delve into detail into it, but all I'm trying to say is that yoga is a very expansive term. And today we will focus on Kriya Yoga, and we have eminent speakers whom I'll introduce a little bit later. But the main point is Kriya Yoga was perhaps forgotten or lost for many, many centuries before it was then again revived by somebody, Lahiri Mahashoy, about whom you will hear a lot today. So it is, in that sense, a treasure which has not really been understood very well because so few people, at least until the last 40, 50 years, so few people knew about it. But now we have more like organizations that are doing this workshop today. They have made it a mission to propagate the views of Lahiri Mahashoy and Kriya Yoga. And so the only one more note that I would like to highlight before I hand over to Professor Singh is that when we talk of yoga, of course, there is Karma Yoga, there is Bhakti Yoga, there is Raj Yoga, there is Jnana Yoga. Karma Yoga, which typically is translated as yoga of action, the root word is Krit, and that same root word is also in Kriya Yoga. So I will let the speakers tell us the nuances, the difference between Kriya Yoga and Karma Yoga, though both come from the same root. So with that, let me introduce, as I said, our founding director and somebody who has been practicing Kriya Yoga for more than 2 decades now, Professor Balram Singh. So Balramji, could you please give us an overview of this technique and introduce the speakers?
Sure, thank you. I just wanted to, oh, this is too loud? A little bit too loud. Too loud. I think I can be louder than that then. Maybe. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to compliment Professor Sengupta, who has been continuing this mission that was created by Professor Roy. Not only participated in teaching, but he is one of the founders. There were 7 founders with the faculty of the Indian origin, from mechanical, from engineering, from art, from business. They signed a petition to the Chancellor at that time. I think it's just an important thing to know that it was really a very joint effort of faculty. And it started with 1997, India's 50th Independence Day. And that's where this whole, the idea is sprung out of our head that we should do something about it. And I think this is the only center, which I think Sukalanji forgot. And since Dean Madan is a new person and he would like to know more about how great these things have been, and business school has been very important part of it. You saw that we really had a journal that was initiated because of Center for Indic Studies when Luna was here. I mean, he still is editor, and despite my plea to him not to keep me as associate editor, he wants to keep me as associate editor. So I'm learning more about business as well. But the point I wanted to say, there are 13 or so centers in this university. The Center for Indic Studies is the only center that has academic programs. Everybody else has the research programs and other things, but we have courses. And it took a little bit of mastery to do that, because that's not normally allowed to do that. In that one, Kriya Yoga, I mean, Center for Indic Studies, formal center was the very first one. This one was the very first one. Now there are more of these have sprung out in India, not in this country. Even there was an effort to change this name to South Asian, and we had to fight it back. Indic is Indic. I think we should, and this interestingly was mentioned in autobiography of Yogi also. There was some Professor Brown from University of Pennsylvania who had written that the Indic culture, Indic philosophy, Indic traditions, one must learn, even for university professors, to teach whatever they are teaching. So the Kriya Yoga is one of those lineages, as you can see, has come. And the science of Kriya Yoga is a course that meets science requirements in this university. That's the only, anywhere public university where they have taken the yoga of any kind, this is of course Kriyayoga because I just learned that, is accepted as a science course. It meets science requirements for undergraduate students. So it's uniquely different, and it can be used to promote, like what you were saying, that many people just know yoga means just some exercises. And this Kriya Yoga team that we see here, they are coming to a lineage totally dedicated, and something that can be moved forward. Things change, things become different. I think it's important that we adapt to the time. Jerry Sullivan is sitting here. He taught this course when I retired, after I retired, and he is a meditator. Actually, he used to teach meditation, but he brought that idea into Kriya Yoga, and a student loved it because he not only taught here in the university, but he has people outside the university in the city. They also were practicing meditation and other things. So I think it has a huge potential for the goal that Lahari Mahasaya started this knowledge. These things, as I have learned more about these things with time, I have found out that the science can be improved. The science can be improved, technology can be improved, business can be improved by understanding this idea of yoga. And Professor Sengupta just mentioned about this, how it is related to Kri, which is Karma Yoga, and how is the Kriya Yoga. Kriya Yoga, of course, in Patanjali Yoga Sutra is written, Tapa Swadhyaya Iswar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. But Kriya is something that happens. And I think these two experts are going to talk more about it based on what I heard from them in Harvard. It is not something that you do, believe it or not. It's something that happens, but do you pay attention to it? Do you get united with whatever? Because things are always happening. The most subtle way of doing is not doing, but then since we are human beings, we have mind, we try to understand. So when we do something, we learn how to pay attention. The only reason asanas are very important, they are very important in my opinion, because they tell you how to pay attention to something that you are doing. So then you start paying attention to what somebody else is doing. Somebody else, in this case, will be our body, or how are they doing? We learn how to pay attention. And once you into that one, then it becomes on autopilot. You understand, you see, you can feel, you can act, all that, really that happens. Kriya is the only thing that we can do, and that happens. Kriya is different than karma. Kriya is a verb and karma is object. So it's very important to understand that I have learned, because of Kriya Yoga, I understood more about karma. Karma is not the Kriya. Karma is the goal. You set the goal and then you do the Kriya. And I think the word right, quote unquote, that everybody is fighting for. In Sanskrit, the word is adhikar. Adhikar means adhikriya. When you do adequate work, then automatically you will get somewhere. So the Kriya is such a thing that brings, like Professor Sengupta said, it has so many aspects of it, can be, and Kriya is the only way, I think, to do it. So I would not, of course, take so much of time. I think that's not what the purpose is, to have these esteemed people to talk about this. The only thing I can say that I used to have students, I used to give them assignments, and they used to practice. That has become data. We have even published some of it for education purposes. We have published, and but at the end of the class, I used to have the last day of the class. We will have the videographer just like that, and we'll have ask the students what their experience has been. They, of course, very positive experience. But I remember one particular student. She was a girl, and she said, I had tendinitis and I got a surgery, but I didn't take a single painkiller. So it removes the pain and also perhaps pleasure. That's the whole idea. When you go beyond pain and pleasure, you reach the state of mind where you become yogi. And so it can have even somebody like that, just one semester, and her life, and many others, of course, like that, including mine, Because of that, I'm entirely different person. In science, in every, in my body that I can do some exercise, but also how I think, how I do research, how I think of science, how do I look at my data. Today I was looking at a student who had written something about Newton's law, the quantum mechanics, and theory of relativity, how the students start thinking about something else out of that, which is what is really very important. And when you can inspire students to start thinking of their own, that is the job of a professor, is done. Because if they start thinking, if they're only thinking what you have been thinking, you haven't really done much. So I think it has huge potential and yet to be realized. And I hope that, this kind of activity and this kind of sponsorship by the center and promotion of these kind of things will continue. Thank you very much. You were introducing it? Okay, thank you.
So now we'll move into the keynote address, and that will be by Professor Shantanu Kapur. He is the founder member and senior advisor of this institution called Yogiraj Shyamacharan Mission. As I said, the mission is to propagate the teachings of a Kriyayoga master called Shyamacharan Lahiri, which a lot of people know him as Lahiri Mahashaya. It's a Bengali term, Sanskrit Bengali term. So I would request Professor Kapur to start his keynote address.
Dean Madan Annavarjula, Professor Sengupta, and Professor Balram Singh. Today, I would like to have a different off-take on Kriyayoga. The goal is the same, but the route I'll take a slightly different route. And part of it is dealing in my personal life also. I have taken that privilege. I hope you won't mind. I would like to go back in time a good 36 years. The year was 1989 when I first met my Gurudeva for the first time. I remember having told him at that very onset of our conversation, I do not have any ambition in my life. I earn enough money to cover life's basic needs. I have a roof above my head. I have a very supportive wife, hence I am in no need of a woman either. I just want to learn Kriyayoga from her. My predestined Gurudeva, because technically speaking, I was not initiated into the path of Kriyayoga at that time of our first meeting, appeared to be mightily pleased upon hearing my plea. He broke into a wide grin, and the answer he gave to my query not only stumped me, but I had it ringing in my ears till now, as I am talking to you, and would be perhaps ringing in my ears till the last breath I take. He said, the only ambition you should have is to become God on earth by practicing Kriyayoga. The enormity of the statement took some time to seep in. After I got initiated into the path of Kriya, slowly but surely, I came to understand the true meaning of my Gurudeva's utterances on the very first day of our meeting. Now, before we delve deep into our subject, which is how to attain Godhood while living on earth, I would like to clarify a few topics and terminologies which are relevant to the subject matter. Number one, prana. Prana translates to life force or vital energy. It refers to the universal energy that flows in and around our bodies, believed to be the breath and sustaining force of life itself. It is originally a Sanskrit term. 2. Bhagavan. In many parts of India and South Asia, Bhagavan represents the concept of a universal God or divine to Hindus who are spiritual and religious but do not worship a specific deity. 3. Ishwar. The word Ishwar is a Sanskrit term that translates generally to the Supreme Being, God, or the Lord of the universe. In the religious context, in Hinduism, Ishwar is often associated with representation of the divine ruler and ultimate reality. The term is derived from Isha, meaning ruler, and Vara, meaning boon and blessing. In some traditions, Ishvara is associated and synonymous with Shiva, the Supreme Lord. In Kriyayoga parlance, definition of God, Bhagavan and Ishwar is as follows. Sorry, I'm taking a little bit of water out here. Thank you. In the Kriya Yoga parlance, definition of God, Bhagavan and Ishwar is as follows. Now prana has got two states, still and dynamic. Before creation began, prana existed in the still state. For some causeless cause, still prana got vibrated and formed the entire creation, and in due course of time, which began with creation, dissolves again into the still state. This still state of prana only is Bhagavan or Ishwar. Bhagavan is not something which comes down from heaven with a flowing white beard or a flowing white gown. It is only the still state of prana. In this context, I would like to give a quotation from Upanishads, an ancient collection of Sanskrit texts that forms a crucial part of Hindu philosophical and spiritual thoughts. They are considered to be the concluding portions of the Vedas, and their teachings delve into the profound philosophical inquiries about nature of reality, the self, and the relationship between the individual and the divine. It explores complex concepts like the Brahman. I hope you are all aware of this term Brahman. The ultimate reality, that is, Atman, that is the self, and the nature of existence. They represent a shift from the Vedic emphasis on rituals to focus on knowledge and spiritual understanding. The Upanishads are considered to be the foundational text of various schools of thoughts like Vedanta. The particular shloka, meaning a couplet or a verse in Sanskrit, the word shloka originates from the Sanskrit term shru, meaning to hear. I am going to quote a shloka which goes as follows. Prano hi bhagavanisha, prano vishnu pitamaha, pranena dharyate loka, sarvam pranamaya jagat. The meaning of this shloka is as follows. Prana only is Bhagavan. Prana only is Ishwar. Prana is Vishnu, the maintainer. Prana is grandfather Brahma, the creator. Prana is Dharma. upholding the entire creation. Hence the entire universe is prana parvede. Prana referred to here is the still state of prana. Dynamic prana is the source of all creation, also known as Prakriti or the primordial female energy. It has to be noted that human beings only can practice Kriya Yoga because they have a vertical spinal cord. There are 7 chakras located along the various points of the spinal cord. Life is equivalent to a river. Just as a river has a constant flow of water, similarly, life has a constant flow of prana. Just as a river current gushes down from the mountains, its source, forming whirlpools at different points in its course. Similarly, prana current gushing down from its source, the sahasrara, flows through the spinal cord and forms whirlpools at different locations of the spinal cord. These whirlpools are called cakras. As mentioned earlier, there are 7 chakras along the human spinal cord. Number 1, Muladhara, located at the back of the rectum. Prana current originates from the Sahasrara chakra and flows down till Muladhara chakra, which is located at the base of the spinal cord. Number 2, Swadhisthana chakra, which is located on the opposite side of the genitalia. Number 3, Manipura chakra, which is opposite the navel. Number 4, Anahata chakra, located at the back of the midpoint of thorax. Number 5, Vishuddha chakra, located opposite the center of the nape of the neck. And 6, Agnya chakra, located on the occipital bone behind the center of both eyebrows. And finally, Sahasrara chakra, located at the crown of the head, absolutely on the top of the head. I would like to give you further breakdowns of the term Bhagwan or Ishwar. The term Bhagwan is formed by conjoining 2 Sanskrit words, namely Bhag, meaning yoni, the source or origin, and Ban, meaning breath. When a Kriyaban, by practicing austere Kriya Yoga sadhana, completes 10,61,000 internal pranayams through the Sushumna channel, which is shown by the Guru to the disciple at the time of getting initiation, maybe in one birth or multiple births, because the effect of this pranayam is carried over from one birth to the other and is indestructible. He attains settlement in Anga Chakra or Kutas, and this state is only Bhagwan or Ishwar. From the chart given in the next page, slide here, Brahman to down to Atman to progression and regression. From the chart you can see in the screen. Oh yeah, yes. You can see, dim the lights please. You can see the root is Brahman, Paramatma, the absolute infinite soul, which is non-dual. Then comes Atma, the soul, non-dual. 3, Prana, Bhagavan or Ishwar, the supreme being. It is a kinetic state of the soul. It is a dual entity. Then comes Jivan, life, Jiva, living being, Buddhi, intelligence, Vivek, conscience, Chitta, intellect, Manas, mind, Ichha, wish, Chinta, thought, Aham, pride, Bhavana, cogitation, Kalpana, imagination, Kamana, desire, Vasana, aspiration, Lobha, greed, Krodh, anger, Hingsha, malice, Parasrikatarata, covetousness. You want to take a picture, you can take a picture. In the meanwhile, I have a sip of water. Okay, shall I start again? There is another aspect of a yogi which I want to draw your attention. This stage is beyond Bhagwan or Ishwar state. It is the non-dual state of the Atman when the yogi does everything without any karmafal or fruits of action being attributed to him. He goes beyond karmafal with his attitude being, let the indriyas or the sensory faculties do their work, I, the Atman, do not do anything. I am the sole witness. This is a true Advaita state when through innumerable pranayams, the kinetic mind dissolves into the still mind and the sensory faculties drop off. Prana is stilled, that is Bhagwan and Ishwar state. Then the yogi does everything being attached to Atman. Brahman is the ultimate universal reality, while Atman is the individual self or soul, which is considered a part of Brahman. Atman is the universal expression of the universal essence residing within each of the beings. Now, does a person who has attained godhood behave like a normal human being? Or he behaves very eccentrically or waywardly or whichever way? Thank you. Thank you. The answer is yes and no, both. This particular state has been described in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, shlokas 8, 9 and 10. To quote and unquote, I execute nothing, perpetually remain united with Brahman in Kriya's transcendental state, and in that state, that is Kriya's transcendental state, hear, touch, sleep, inhale, exhale, smell, open and close eyes, all the sensory faculties function in accordance with their disposition. This type of realization takes place. Engrossed in Brahman, he performs all actions devoid of any desire, and for this reason he is not involved in any sin, just like a drop of water floats atop a lotus leaf and does not wet the leaf. Such a person would be a passionate lover of nature or Prakriti, because Prakriti has emanated from him. He would love trees, forests, animals of the forest, everything he sees or does not see around him. He would not only love Mother Nature, but would actively work for its protection. He would see an elephant and an ant in the same perspective, because both are expressions of prana, whose embodiment he is. He would love both of them equanimously, dispassionately. His love flows from within to without, unlike normal humans who try to love from without to within. His love is all-encompassing without any gender bias. He would love each and everyone selflessly without asking anything in return. In Sanskrit, this is known as Nishkam Prem, the unalloyed platonic love which Lord Krishna had for the gopis and gopinis, which unfortunately has been subject to a lot of misunderstanding by the people of the world. In short, to understand what God is like, you have to become God yourself. That is why my Gurudeva told me on the very first day of our meeting, if you at all want to have any ambition, Shantanu, that should be how to become God on earth. Thank you.
We will now have kind of a continuation on the same theme by Srimati Joyati Kapur. She is the founder, working president of this Yogiraj Shyamacharan Mission. And when we had a conversation about a month ago, she told me, and I don't know if she would like to tell the same, how she was a college professor, and then suddenly she had this calling, and that changed her life completely in propagating this mission. So, Professor Joyati Ji, please.
Thank you so much. I don't think I'm needing the mic. Better off.
Better it's only for the recording that.
Before I begin, I would like to thank Dean Madan Anna Marjula, Professor Balaram Singh, and of course Professor Sengupta, who have made this possible for us to be here. Eternal gratitude to Professor Balaram Singh, because he's been really very much, working to bring us here in the States. So eternal gratitude to him and Professor Sengupta. And I address the respected members of the audience also, including Professor Roy. Professor Roy, okay, sorry. Okay, so we are all in the Bengali fraternity. I'm a Bengali myself. Okay, so anyway. So now we are here today to exactly, pinpoint without going much, dithering about what is Kriya Yoga. Now, everybody has heard about this Kriya Yoga because right now, unfortunately or fortunately, it has become a fad. Now, it's absolutely not an acceptable part, because this is an intrinsic, eternal, spiritual science which transcends any geographical boundaries. This is extremely pristine, immaculate, holy. So, Bharat, I will not say India, I will say Bharat, because the constitution says it's India, but in actuality it is Bharat. So Bharat has been known, eternally will be known, as the spiritual capital of the world. Why is this so? This is because Bharat is such a nation where Bhagwan, that is God, if you want to have the English equivalent, decides to mark his advent here all the time. He marks his advent at the transition of each yuga, when there is a religious, a dharmaic decline. So, you must have read the quotation, the shloka of the Gita, Dharma Sansthapanarthaya Sambhavami Yuge Yuge. What does this connote? This means that whenever there is a dharmaic decline, I shall keep on marking my advents. So we have these 4 yugas, the Satya, Treta, Dapar and Kali, which all of you are familiar with. Which is the Satya Yuga is the English equivalent would be the Golden Age, and then the Silver Age, then the Copper Age, and then the Age of Lead. Now, Satya Yuga is a period when each and everybody is practicing yoga. After this, we come to the Treta and the Dapar. So, Treta and the Dapar, Satya, Treta, Dapar, Kali. So, when we have the Treta and the Dapar, there has been a declension of 25 to 30% of this yoga practice. So this is why Bhagwan Ram decided to mark his advent on the holy soil of Bharat. After that, we have the Dapar Kali, when we have Bhagwan Krishna marking his advent when the declension has arrived at 50%. And then it is the Kali Satya when declension is almost 95%, when Shyamacharan Lahiri Mahashaya marked his advent. Now, you see, why is Bharat the spiritual capital? It is because on this holy soil of Bharat, we have the Munis, the Rishis and Yogis practice this Sanatan Yoga Sadhan through eons, thereby sanctifying and uplifting the spiritual glory of the nation. Mind you, the word Bharat, I would like to emphasize on this, does not have any parochial connotation. Why? Because, I'll explain right away. If you divide the word Bharat into 3 syllables, Bha plus Ra plus Ta. Now, what does this denote? Bha means the intensely effulgent resplendence. Ra means the heat essence, which is located in the Manipur chakra. It is the navel essence. And Ta means the release. So, when a yogi practices Yoga Sadhan with the help of the navel essence, the Navi, he takes this practice up, and during this practice, the yoga practicant, the Kriyaban or the yogi, the practicing yogi, he does come across soul realization, soul sound, hearing the internal soul sounds, the soul visualization. Now, this is the intense resplendence. The soul visualization consists of seeing the soul sun within your own self, within your own body. This soul sun is incomparable. It cannot be compared to the planetary suns, because millions of planetary suns pale into insignificance when we see the soul sun within the third eye of ourself. Okay? Now, this is so very beautiful. The yogi gets engrossed, enwrapped. While he is doing the sadhana, he is taking through the pranayam, through the kriya practice, he takes himself, he is in that state, where he is just at the threshold of entering the realm of realmlessness, that is the non-dual, still static state. So at this juncture, it is just like, when you arrive at a sea face, when you arrive at the seashore, you are standing on the borderline of the sea. And you can see the sea ahead of you. but you have not entered that sea. That sea, this is of course the material sea, so that sea is, it's vast. So when you enter the sea, then you understand what the sea is like. So the yogi, when he practices this Kriya Yoga sadhana, what does he encounter? He encounters this soul visualization, this soul effulgence. As a result, he is enwrapped with it. He is at the threshold before he merges into the static void Brahman. So the moment he merges into this, he gains the taran, the ta of Bharat. What is this taran? This means the release from the cycle of births and deaths. This in the English parlance is known as salvation. Now, what does Kriya Yoga sadhana teach us? To attain the fulfillment of human birth. What is the fulfillment of human birth? To end the cycle of births and deaths. There is no coming, no going, no happiness, no misery, no day, no night, because the moment we are born, we do enjoy, at the same time we do suffer. So the quotient of suffering far surpasses the quotient of enjoyment, that everybody will agree. This is the ground reality. So the yogi, after he crosses, he merges himself, he is known as Bharat, as you must have read the Gita, where Bhagavan Krishna addresses Arjuna, his favorite disciple, one of the Pandavas, as Hey Bharat. So this particular word Bharat transcends all geographical boundaries, sects, cults, genders, communities, creeds, all. Everybody can be a Bharat in any part of the world if he is practicing this Kriya Yoga sadhana. This is the stark truth. If you practice this Kriya Yoga sadhana, irrespective of what creed you belong to, irrespective of which nation you belong to, you are Bharat, which means you are the yogi. So, Bharat therefore is not a parochial term. This is why this word has a very, very ample, it is very, highly magnitudinal. Now, this Kriya Yoga, why is this Kriya Yoga important for each and every one? In 1997, our Guruji, Mahapadhyay Dr. Ashok Kumar Chatterjee, was invited by His Holiness Highness Dalai Lama to attend the World Parliament of Religions in France. So I had the good fortune to be with him because I know French also. And over there, what were the topics? How can Kriya Yoga promote love, peace, solidarity? How can Kriya Yoga save the planet? How can Kriya Yoga build an unity in diversity? Now, saving the planet. Everybody is aware of what is what is happening today, of the Holocaust. It is the Holocaust, the irreversible cataclysms, which is totally gripping the world. They are paroxysms of violence and unrest, which everybody is aware of. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritties of it. Everybody is aware of the natural geographical disasters like the tsunamis, the earthquakes, the floods, so on and so forth. Now for this, who is responsible? Man. Man is responsible for his own sorrows. Man is responsible for all the detractions which he has invited himself to embrace. I will not much talk about artificial intelligence. That is also a very, very big deterrent. That is making man hard. Man has become a victim of artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence will no longer remain a tool, it is already becoming an agent. And the moment artificial intelligence becomes an agent, there will be an irreversible cataclysm, a disaster. It will land up in disastrous consequences because artificial intelligence will take over man. The moment artificial intelligence is aware that humans are more intelligent than artificial intelligence, they have the capacity, rather they have been fed with the capacity to leverage a mechanism which can outsmart the human race. Now, we, as I say, we have become slaves to AI. What is happening as a result of this? We are losing compassion. We are losing the human and the humane element. This is why Kriya Yoga is necessary. Through the practice of this Kriya Yoga, you will gain stillness. That I will explain the science. Please showcase the diagram of the chakras. When a human being is born, when a human being is in his mother's womb, in the pre-nascent stage, the human being is having his nutrition from the umbilical cord of the mother. Now, at this stage, the unborn fetus, please look at me, dear audience, and then I will come to the diagram. The unborn fetus is getting its sustenance from the umbilical cord of the mother, and his state of vibration is in level 0. Okay? So where is this level 0? The level 0 is in Sahasrara, which is the state beyond essences. It is the state beyond essences, which means it is the non-dual state. This means it is the static still state. It means it is the void state of the Brahman, the ultimate, the absolute. Now, when the moment this baby is born, the baby cries, wah. And this wah sound of a human baby is universal, irrespective of any geographical boundary. That all of you will agree. Yes or no? So the baby will have to cry. If the baby does not cry, he is spanked by the doctor, by the nurses, by the medical staff. Why? Otherwise the baby will die. Now, why does the baby cry? What is the science behind this? The science behind this is, when he was in the prenatal stage, he was in the vibration level 0. The moment he is born, he is flung into this horrendous, dynamic vibration level of 100,000. So, each one of us have been flung into this level of 100,000 level of vibrations. Now, what is happening when this particular baby, each baby, it deals with each one of us. So when this baby slowly and steadily is growing up, now first 6 months, everybody must be aware of that baby is smiling in his sleep, he's sleeping most of the time. Now what does this indicate? He is remembering his pre-nascent stage of the blissful state he was wallowing himself in. Now he has been flung into this particular state. As a result, he cries, and now after 6 months, what is happening? Slowly when the baby is growing up, he is becoming, a victim of the sensory faculties, of the vices, the propensities. We can see the baby throws temper tantrums, the baby is jealous, and the baby, he fights, he's quarrelsome. So these are then going inside the baby. So then he becomes a child, then a teenager, then an adult, so on and so forth. Now, why we cannot have unity in diversity? I'm not digressing, I'm telling you. In alignment with the chakras. Now, unity and diversity is a fallacious concept because each one of us are having varying levels of vibration. Okay? Now, the first thing which we are required to have is to acknowledge the supreme, that is the prana. Now, what is this prana? The P-R-A-N-A. If you take this prana as an acronym, P means the pervasive, R is the reality. So it's the pervasive reality. A stands for allness, N stands for nothingness, and the final A stands for the absolute. So, prana is the pervasive reality, allness, nothingness, absolute. So, it is both all, it's and at the same time nothing. Through this Kriya practice, what do we achieve at? It is the worship of prana. Kriya practice is the worship of prana. But at one point of time, through this practice, what happens is the worshipped one, the worshipper, and the worship all lose their individual identities. They all merge into one. So this is the nothingness. It is such a state, this is the void state, where none remains to say that there is nothing. Through this Kriya Yoga practice, what do we attain slowly and steadily? The chakras. This Kriya is practiced with the help of the chakras. This is the Ashtanga Yoga, as you all know what it is. It is the Yam, which means the self-control, the Niyam, which means the discipline, the Asana, which means the yogic posture, not the asana of a yoga mat. Of course, that is also very important, the Hatha Yoga. Because if you have a fit body, only then can you practice this Kriya Yoga. So this is why Hatha Yoga is definitely important to enable you to immerse yourself in several hours of the practice. Then we come to pranayam. Now, what is this pranayam? Now, unfortunately, there has been a lot of pranayamas in the market. It has become a marketable commodity. Please do not misunderstand me. I am not disparagingly talking about anybody. But what has been incorporated in the Shastras, what has been imparted by Lahari Mahashaya, and what has been practiced by him is what we are speaking about here. It is not the pressing of the nostrils, the Ira and the Pingala. I will come to the demonstration a little later. Let me finish. It is not the pressing of this, and forcefully taking your breath, and forcefully the Rechak and the Purak, and forcefully executing a Keval Kumbhak. That is dangerous. very, very detrimental for the health. This pranayama, which is the eternal pranayama, which has been flowing through eons and have been practiced by Munis, Rishis and Yogis, is the stilling of our kinetic state. Now, what is the stilling of this kinetic state? We take this pranayama from the Muladhara chakra, which is the seat of the 100,000 level of vibrations, and slowly, slowly go up the Swadhisthana. Muladhara is the earth essence, then the Swadhisthana, which is the water essence, then we come to the navel essence, the Manipur, and then the Anahata, which is the air essence. The Manipur is the fire essence, which is very, very important. That is located in the region of the navel. And then we come to the Anahata, which is the air essence, which is centered in the chest region. And then we come to the Vishuddha, the throat region. So this is the space. So till here, we have 10 level of vibrations. So the Sahasrara, which is the 1,000-petal lotus, which is the cerebral, the vortex, this is this portion, this is 0. After that we come to the occiput, the occipital bone. This is as you draw a perpendicular line from the third eye till the end of the bone. That is your occiput, it's very important. And this is your third eye, which in Kriya Yoga parlance is known as the kutastha. Now, this kutastha is very, 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 very important for a practitioner, because this kutastha enables you to attain soul realization. It enables you to attain soul visualization. It enables you to hear the infrasounds. It enables you to be at one with the soul essence by losing your own identity and entity. So this third eye, which is the kutastha, is imperishable, unchangeable. Now, I'll give you the literal explanation of the kutastha. Now, Kut means the anvil. You must be all familiar with the anvil of a goldsmith or a silversmith. He designs jewelries by beating on the anvil. So whichever metal it is. Now, he keeps on designing various shapes, various designs by hitting on the anvil, but that particular anvil is, as you all know, it remains unchanged, because he keeps on creating different designs on that same anvil. So the anvil remains unchangeable. So our third eye, it is imperishable. This is why we should respect the third eye. Lahiri Mahashaya has said, there is nothing called sin or virtue. If the mind is placed on the third eye, the kutastha, there is no sin. Otherwise, there is sin. Now, through this pranayam, now this is the internal pranayam, which is executed through the Sushumna channel. Now this is the Ira, this is the Pingala. The left nostril, the right nostril. And in between we have the spinal cord, the chakras. We do no longer the external inhalation, exhalation, no longer. When we are doing the Kriya Yoga Sadhana practice, we practice this pranayama internalized through the Sushumna channel up from the Muladhara through the chakras till the Agya chakra, and again down from the Agya chakra one by one till the Muladhara. So one up, down, 6 up, 6 down, 6 up, 6 down, like this, and that is totally internal without any external airs coming out from the nostrils. This is why you attain the stillness. You are not taking the help of the external breath, mind you. You are taking help of the internalized process of the pranayam. So, the rechak and the purak is internalized. It goes up, it goes down, without this fact being factored at all. And then, what do we do? Through this, so this is a long practice, you know, it has to be executed over a period of time, you know. Nothing comes in a jiffy. This is not a shortcut or an instant awakening. Okay? So, as we proceed, what do we attain? Our level of vibration, maybe after a period of a year, 2 years, 3 years, depending on your cycle of evolution. This also plays an important part. But at the same time, you can accelerate your evolutionary cycle by doing this Kriyayoga sadhana. Now, so as you see, the state beyond essences is still the Agya chakra. After that, from the Vishuddha chakra, the space essence, it is 10. And it multiplies 10-fold in each of the chakras. So, it's 10 multiplied by 100 at the Anahata, and from the 100 of the Anahata to the Manipur, 1,000, and then the Swadhisthana, 10,000, and finally the Muladhara, 1 lakh. So, what do we have to do? Because this unrest is there. This Kriya Yoga is a process from restlessness to restfulness. We are all kinetic, but how do we arrive at this state? We have to, whenever we are hit by a thorn or any thorn pricks us, so we have to take another thorn to uproot that thorn. Similarly, with the help of the kinetic prana, we will have to attain the still prana. Otherwise, we will not be able to attain. So we will have to do this practice, but an internal practice. And then there will become the cessation of breath, the breathless state. Now, this breathless state does not mean that I am suffocating, I am feeling claustrophobic. No, that is the external breathing motion. Internal cessation of breath is wonderful. This internal cessation of breath happens through the Sushumna channel. And please do not talk, I get disturbed. This internal cessation of breath is happening through the Sushumna channel. And you lose yourself. You yourself, you're not aware that you have become breathless. Why, you know? Because, as Lahari Mahashaya has said, Tan man vachan karm lagave, which means what? Body consciousness is no longer there. Man means Manmana Bhava Madhyaji Mang Namaskaru, which means what? You reach, you attain, you repose the kinetic mind in the still mind. So you attain the state of mindlessness, the state of being thought free. I will not use the word thoughtlessness. Why? Because in English, I mean, it's very limited, you know, the vocabulary, sorry for that. The thing is that the moment you use thought thoughtful, thoughtless. But thought-free means the state without any thoughts. Thoughts is also a part of the kinetic mind. So that is again dual. So it is a thought-free state. And it is the state of complete cessation, that is the Keval Kumbhak. This is known as the Kriya's transcendental state, where you lose your entity, you become reticent, you lose your speech. Lose your speech means you don't become dumb. You refrain from talking much. You become reticent. And karm lagawe, which means whichever action you execute, that is the passive action. A yogi, just by attaining this state of godhood, it does not mean, it does not connote that he has lost his entity, but he can come down. And coming down, he can execute all activities, but his attention is 24 hours, 24 by 7, fixed on the third eye. This only happens after regular practice, diligent, arduous, sincere practice. And the yogi can execute all, he sees, he eats, he sleeps, he talks, he does everything. A yogi will not display any miracles. Everything he does fixed in the kutas, the third eye. And he will, any action also, he will do it because he has to do it, as per discipline. If he has to eat, he will have to eat because he has to sustain himself. He is practical. A yogi is never emotional. He knows the rationality of things. So he will execute those activities, but he will not be totally embroiled in it. Through this pranayama practice, what is happening? We are slowly and steadily gaining a stillness within. This you will understand if you can do this practice. You will be your own judge. Kriya Yoga is not based on other people's experiences. It is based on your own personal experiences, on your own personal realization. So, the Ashtanga Yoga, as I was saying, Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam. After this we come to Pratyahar, which is, what is this Pratyahar? It is the withdrawal, the renunciation, but it's not the sannyasi, mind you. Lahiri Mahashaya has very, very vehemently spoken about sannyasis. What has he said? He is himself a householder. Remaining within the family ambit, he has occasioned several impediments so that we can relate to him. He had 5 children, of 2 daughters and 3 sons. One son had become mad, insane. One daughter expired after marriage. She had Asiatic cholera. One daughter widowed. When Lahiri Mahashaya is the fountainhead of Kriya Yoga, did he need all this? But to set an example to mankind, he has occasioned these upon himself so that we mortals relate to him. We can relate to him. He himself has practiced this sadhana. He has abided by family discipline, social discipline, official discipline. He was working in the military engineering works department in Ranikhet. Abiding by all such responsibilities, he would practice the sadhana in the night in the corner of his room. He has said that your own house is the most comfortable place in the world. Household existence is the best. household ashram is the most important, as all other ashrams are dependent on it. That is the Vanapastya, the sannyas, and the Garhasthya. The Garhasthya is the household ashram. So all the other ashrams are dependent on it. He has said, a household yogi does not have any ostentation. He does not have any external garb. He does not aspire for self-revelation. He practices the soul sadhana in the corner of his room, and he attains what he has to attain. Whereas a sannyasi has a garb. He has that even the donkeys is just like the color of donkeys. A sannyasi has no reprieve if he commits any error. A householder has reprieve if he commits any error. You all must be knowing of Trailanga Swami. He was also a very famous yogi in India, in Andhra Pradesh. So when Lahiri Mahashaya had gone to meet him, he had embraced, he was also a very, very superior yogi. He had embraced him, and he was in the Mauna stage, he was not talking. So after Lahiri Mahashaya left, his disciples asked him that, you being such a high yogi, why did you embrace this gentleman called Lahiri Mahashaya? To which he wrote on the slate that for the one who has attained in his own family ambit in the room, we sannyasis, we have to abandon the loincloth also to attain that one. He has attained that one staying within the family ambit. Should I not embrace him? So you can understand how important household existence is. A householder will not go astray. Mark my words. This is the truth. We are 4 decades into this practice. We've known several Kriya Yoga organizations throughout the world. So this is why I speak so emphatically. And I mean every word I say. So, the pratyahar. This pranayama, mind you, the Shastras say, Pranayama Mahadharma Vedanama Pagachara. What does this mean? It is the greatest so-called religion which the Vedas are not aware of. Lahiri Mahashaya said that Kriya Yoga is chanting of the Vedas because the pranayama, ultimately the whistling sound comes. So this is why it's chanting of the Vedas. The Vedas means knowledge. So we attain soul knowledge, soul enlightenment. Okay? Now, so we need to go beyond the state of knowledge, the Vedas, which is the Vedanta, the end of knowledge. Why? Because through this pranayama practice we attain soul enlightenment. Further than that, as we progress further, what happens? We ourselves get converted into Brahman ourselves. And this is why the Vedas, it is beyond the concept, beyond the perception of the Vedas also. This Kriya Yoga is so very, very divine, so very powerful. So, through this pranayama, what is happening? We are attaining an internal stillness. A Kriya Yogi will sleep for 4 hours to 5 hours, maybe lesser if he's doing 12 hours of practice. Why? Because this pranayama gives him the stillness which is far, far, far transcending the stillness which we attain from the gross sleep. I mean, this is what it is. After this we get the pratyahar, which is the renunciation. A yogi will not exhibit I'm a renounced person. In fact, he might go, over and above so that people don't recognize him. He will never profess. Because he's internalized. He's not externalized. So a yogi will definitely not display anything. But an individual awakening leads to a global spiritual awakening. How? You see, when we go to a garden which has very beautiful, fragrant flowers, so the bees are attracted by the honey, by the pollen, and we are attracted by the fragrance, the beauty. Similarly, a true yogi will emit an aura to such an extent that he will, everybody will be so very imbued that he will be inclined, he will derive the inclination to get into this practice. And 2, 3, 4 get attracted. They themselves then, by practicing the Kriya, they themselves can attract the other maybe 7, 10 individuals. So it increases. This we have seen with our own eyes. I speak from my own personal experience. This is just not talk for talk's sake. So this renunciation which happens is, you see, in the path of Kriya Yoga, you're not forced. It's not an imposition. You're not forced into not doing certain things. No, never. You can continue with whatever you're doing, with whatever practice you are in. But as you practice this Kriya Yoga sadhana, you will yourself realize, again I repeat, it's a soul realization, self-realization. It is not based on my experience or his experience or anybody else's. Your own experience. That only will elevate you. That only will enable you to attain the state you are expected to be at. You yourself will realize what you were a couple of years before and what you are today. I hope I'm being able to explain. I hope. So, this renunciation, the pratyahar which comes, it is very spontaneous. This Kriyaban who was into partying or taking liquor or having non-veg, on his own, he will become a vegetarian. Nobody will tell him to. This is why this path is so very beautiful. You yourself will understand that I've had enough of it. So this is why it's so beautiful. It's not an imposition. It is not orthodox. There is no conservatism or fanaticism in Kriya Yoga, mind you. As I said, this has got no isms. It is so very ever-flowing, all-encompassing, all-embracing. And after pratyahar, we come to dharana, which is the soul realization. What is that? Who am I? From where have I come? To where I shall return? The answer for all these 3 questions are one and the same. I am Brahman myself, Lahiri Mahashaya says. You are infinite, Lahiri Mahashaya says. But the scourge of materialism has tormented you so much that you think you are finite. Essentially, you are Brahman. As he said, become God yourself. You can, each of us, the natural, as Guruji has said, the natural disposition of man is to proceed in the path of spirituality. Each one of us has that latent within us. We are all gods. Some know it, some unknowingly are gods. So, the soul realization of Brahman. So as we do this practice, then I will talk about the other stages of this Kriya also. So you will realize slowly and steadily, definitely it is just, there is nothing else. It's so very mathematical. There cannot, just as 2 and 2 equal to 4, this is also inevitable. And then we come to Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan. Now, unfortunately today everybody has coined meditation with Dhyan. Unfortunately, meditation is something very much different. It is involving the kinetic mind. Dhyan is the state of mindlessness when the yogi is thoroughly engrossed, thoroughly wrapped with the soul, with here. This state, in this state what happens? He has already lost his body consciousness, his mind consciousness. He is in a process of progression just prior to merging with the Absolute, which is Samadhi in Ashtanga Yoga, but in Kriya Yoga we say it is the Kriya's transcendental state, which is more superior than Samadhi, because Samadhi has 2 states, Nirvikalp, the Savikalp. Something which you realize, something which you don't. Whereas this transcendental state of Kriya is when you are one with Him, with the Absolute. So you become the Absolute yourself, and as Lahiri Mahashaya has said, that everyone, I only request each one of you to practice this Kriya Yoga sadhana. Why? Because this human frame has not been born to enjoy or suffer the consequences of virtuous or sinful actions, but to practice this desireless Atma Karma, Atma Sadhana, to attain the fulfillment of human birth. That is, traverse the cycle, seize the birth-death cycle. Lahiri Mahashaya has also said, I'll just give you 2 or 3 quotations, which involves the science. Thirst cannot be quenched by seeing the reflection of water, the reflection of a river in the mirror. What do you have to do? You have to take a glass, you have to pour the water from a jug or a pitcher, whichever, and then drink. Similarly, spiritual invocations to God you cannot attain spiritual attainment. You will have to do this practice. I am there waiting for you. I welcome you with open arms. So this Kriya Yoga sadhana is so very, very beautiful. It is so very chastening, I should say. Just as metal is purified by fire, this Kriya Yoga practice, Lahiri Mahashaya has said that you dispel ignorance, you gain soul enlightenment, you incinerate all your sins. Can you imagine the power of this Kriya Yoga sadhana? The morning sins you incinerate in the evening Kriya. The next day's sins you incinerate, the evening sins you incinerate by the morning's Kriya. So this is so very beautiful. So duality is the root of all sorrows. So as we do this practice, in this Kriya Yoga sadhana we have the 6 steps. The Talavya is the first. I don't know, you must be knowing Talavya, I don't know, because Kriya Yoga is not a lesson, it is not a course, it is not a student-teacher relationship. This is so very holy, it is so very intrinsic. It is worshipping of your own prana, of the Dehi, which is the inherent intrinsic, which is latent in each and every human being. And this prana is not for the human beings only, it is for the total universe. The microcosm, the macrocosm. Okay? So the rock, the trees, the plants, the insects, the birds, the animals, etc., etc. Everybody is pervaded by this prana. So, through this Kriya Yoga sadhan, what develops? When you are undergoing this process of the Kriya Yoga sadhan, you are definitely, it is a progression which is happening. So, in this course of progression, your level of tolerance increases, level of patience increases, your level of compassion increases, your level of love increases, your level of sustenance increases, your level of resilience increases. You can combat all odds. You can be sukhe dukhe samakritva, which means whether it is happiness, you don't go overboard, whether it is sorrow, then also you don't get, weighed down. You just balance it out. You know it has to come, it has come. So whether it is calumny, slander, insult, it doesn't matter to a Kriya Yogi. Whether it is praises, or whether eulogies, or whether it is, a lot of, what should I say, praises. He is unfazed. So essentially, Kriya Yoga is an odyssey from the soul searching to the soul reposing stage of restlessness to restfulness, peacelessness to peacefulness. How do you gain this peace, which is permanent? This is PEACE. So it is the permanent equilibrium annihilating the circle of ephemerality. So what is the circle of ephemerality? The circle of births and deaths. Only then you attain this peace. If you are at peace with yourself, the vibration emitted outside to the universe, the macrocosm, automatically will become peaceful. Why is the macrocosm so restless today? This is because of us. We are responsible. The ecological balance has not been maintained. Apart from that, so much of restlessness which we have with us today is being emitted to the outside atmosphere. And this is causing so much of warring factions and so much of, disturbance. So, this Kriya Yoga, as I said, has 6 steps. The Talavya Kriya, which is an exercise of the tongue, which you start at the very outset, and through this you gain the Khechari Mudra, which is of releasing the obstruction of the tongue. So, what is the Khechari Mudra? Khechari Mudra is So Khechari Mudra means when you slowly and steadily get rid, slowly and steadily and gradually, of your indriyas. Then we come to the mental pranayama, which is up 6 up the chakras without the breath. Then the pranayama, which is the breath, involving the internal breath. Then the navi kriya, which is, as I said, the navel essence. You have a kriya over there from where you will have to count. After that, we come to the yoni mudra, which is done before sunrise and after sunset, where you will encounter the soul effulgence in your third eye. And finally, you will have the Mahamudra, which is a part of Hatha Yoga, which because you are sitting in this yogic posture for so long, you will have to release, the blood circulation has to come again. So for that, you do the Mahamudras. So this is the first part of the Kriya. And Kriya, as I said, is the kineticism removed from the intrinsic yoga absolute. Saying this, I end. I could have gone on and on, but maybe you were feeling very bored, or maybe disinterested rather. I do not know. But I just wanted to, I cannot be so succinct, unfortunately, because it's such a vast spiritual science. I could have spoken about the other shlokas also, but I did not. But briefly, what I could, I know, it's dim now. Yeah, it's too bright. I have tried to, I've endeavored to. And saying this, I thank you. And now I want first of you to ask us questions, and then we can do a few demonstrations.
Let's do the demonstrations first, then we'll
The
go to
first
Q&A.
demonstrations, okay. Now, the demonstrations, one thing which I have not told you is, this is again the science of Kriyayoga. A practicant, a yogi, who is practicing this, a normal human being in 24 hours, inhales and exhales 21,600 times a day. But a Kriya yogi at the ultimate stage inhales and exhales 1944 to 2,000 times a day. So, as a result, what is happening? The span of his life increases because he is reserving the breath quotient. Everybody is born with a reserve of breaths. So a person who is expected to live to the age of 90, he can live to the age of 120. Okay? So now what we can do, Rajesh and Keo, first we can do the chakras. Or you can
Somebody can volunteer.
somebody can volunteer here.
Yep.
Anybody can volunteer.
Anybody
so
can
that
volunteer.
Keo can just show. Moshami, if you want to. Very good, thank you so much. You're the youngest. So Keo, yeah. No, she has to stand with her back towards the audience. Yeah. Come forward. So Keo will show the Muladhara. Yeah. Come closer. Yeah. So that is the Muladhara. You just stay put. That is the Muladhara chakra. So this is known as, many places you must have known that the Kundalini Shakti. Now, what is this Kundalini Shakti? It is the Prakriti. The Muladhara is the earth essence. And through this Muladhara, what is happening? This is the seat of all kineticism. 100,000 level of vibrations. Okay? So, this is the Kundalini awakening, and through that you are practicing, you're going up and down the chakras. So first is the Muladhara, then we come to the Swadhisthana. So the Muladhara is at the anal region. And then we come to the Swadhisthana, which is the genitalia region. And above that, we come to the Manipur, that is the heat essence. So the navel. So that if you draw a perpendicular line from the navel to the Manipur, that is the navel essence. The navel, the Manipur. And then we come to the Anahat, which is the space, the air essence. So that is the chest region. Now why is the Anahata, show the Anahata, yeah. So that is this region. This is the seat of all evil. So when the yogi can release the obstruction of the Anahata chakra, he is done. He has conquered the demon in him. He has conquered all the sensory proclivities in him. I hope I've been able to explain. Each of us have the positive aspect and the negative. So the seat of negativity is this. So if we can traverse this, we are done. And then and to the air essence, which is the Vishuddha. And after that is the occiput. This is the occipital bone and the agya. Okay? Now, the pranayam which we take, the Sushumna, which I was saying, the Sushumna oriented pranayam, just draw a line. Just draw the line from the Muladhara slowly through the chakras till the occiput, and then bring it forward to her third eye. Bring it forward to her third eye, yes. Between the eyebrows. You come and see it, okay? Yeah, yeah. No, you look at the audience. Yeah. So we do it like that. And then again, from the Agya chakra, from the Kutastha, it is brought down. We go up and then again we come down from the Agya chakra till the Muladhara. Okay? Now the breath. Now let us see Maushami. Now you got a stopwatch. I mean the second 60 seconds is 1 minute. So in 1 minute, how many inhalation and exhalation is happening with her? So no. You will have to come and measure it. How much time? Otherwise, how will you understand?
60 seconds.
Yeah, come on. No. You do it for her. Yeah, of course. Now, how will she come now? She's going to breathe in. That's not possible. You put the this thing, finger beneath her nostrils. Yeah.
Start.
Yeah.
Start.
Normal breathing. What do you do normal? Start. Yeah. No. Put your nostril, close to the finger. Yeah.
Now that we're focusing on some
Oh no,
Yeah.
you have to stop. You have to stop. You have to
Oh,
stop. Can't talk.
speak.
Don't talk. Not at all. You just have
Just
to,
speak normally.
just for 1 minute.
Mindlessly.
Yeah, no mindless, mindfully only. But you just have to keep on breathing. Normal breathing, what we do in everyday life. So for 1 minute, only just a minute.
Okay, I say 1, 2, 3 and start.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Stop.
But it cannot be really. Yes. So that, you multiply that, 19 into 24 hours, 60.
1 to 60 to 60.
Yeah.
60. Multiplied by 60 for 1 hour. Multiplied by
24.
So it will
27,360.
So, it's 27,360. This is for everybody. Not
It
only
will
the-
vary between.
Yeah, maybe about 500, 300, it might vary. So, a Kriya Yogi is breathing. Another thing which I want to tell everybody. Maushami, when you breathe, what heaves? Your chest goes up and down. Yes? For everybody, is the chest which is going up and down? Yes or no? Yes? For everybody? All are unanimous on this? Okay. When you practice this yoga sadhana, Slowly and steadily, this is the first science. The breathing is from the stomach. So, I hope you can show that to everybody. That you are not doing the breathing, the heaving is not, the chest doesn't heave. It is the stomach which heaves. Somebody has to come and feel. Somebody from the audience, or as Moshumi can feel him.
Yeah, I
She's
can
a-
see. Yeah.
Hmm?
I can see.
No, let her go and, no, you cannot, I don't want you to do it.
So
She will have to feel your stomach.
Isn't it the
No,
lungs?
not there, on the table.
When you breathe, is it the lungs actually heaving? Because-
That is external breathing, of course. That is the inhalation and exhalation.
Correct.
Yes.
So when you say between chest and stomach.
That is the
stomach-
internal breathing. When we take the breathing through the Shushumna channel, then the lungs do not have any function.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And this is why I don't want to speak so much. I don't want to, attract people. But this is the beauty of yoga. And this is why lung diseases are few and far between amongst the Kriyayoga practices. I have generically termed it. I don't want to specifically term it. I have generically termed it. So it is few and far. It is there, of course. Thank you for reminding me. A small thing. During the Corona period, we had, that was the 120th year of the departure of Lahiri Mahashaya. I don't know whether you have the slide, Keo. Or you can just show, just for them to get a reckoning. So we had brought out from the Ministry of India, the Finance Ministry of India, the Government of India, a coin commemorating the 125th departure anniversary of Lahiri Mahashaya. So this coin was actually approved by the SPMCL, which is the Security Printing Minting Corporation of India Limited. And the mint, they had to give the permission, so I had to go and meet the finance minister. That was a peak Corona. The Corona was just catching up. I still remember on the 20th of January, I was in the South Block meeting the revenue, the excise, all the finance departments, and then the finance minister also. We had asked her to inaugurate, but she could not because that time there was a depression, economic depression. So she had a meeting with the International Monetary Fund. Now, at that time, Rajesh and Kyo, they had the permission was granted. The SPMCIL, they had also granted the permission. So this was in collaboration with the Government of India and the SPMCIL, which is also a Government of India body. And it was minted at the Bombay Mint. So at that point of time, so much of up and down, and Corona was at its peak. It was the month of April, May, something like that. Corona had already set in. But Kriyabans did not get the Corona. They did not get it. Why, Why? Because through this Kriyayoga sadhana practice, if at least you reach 10,000 level also, germs cannot thrive. Germs will not thrive. If you're in 100,000 level of vibration, germs will be there. Okay? So, you should be in such a level that there will be, no germs. So, diseases, afflictions occur when there is an aberration of airs. Where there is an aberration of airs. Our Kriyayoga sadhana is with the pran and the apana vayus. We have the 49 airs. So each of these, there are the 10 principal vayus. Pran, apan, van, saman, udan. And then the Dhananjay, Nag, Krikar, Kurma, Devadatta. And then, you can show the 49 air slides. And the 39 airs, they are all circulating within the body. If you want to explain, 39 airs circulate within the body. They are the minor airs. And the Kriyayoga sadhana is an oblation of the prana and the apana. So all these airs, you know, the Nabhi, I mean the navel region, the Manipur chakra, that is the function of the Udana air. So the navel airs are stilled. So you see, then the Samana Vayu. So the Anahata chakra, stilled. So slowly and gradually, you know, there's a region. And the Prana Apana, we have the shloka. Apana juhavati prana, prana apana tatha pare. What does this mean? You have to oblate the prana with the apana with the prana. So this is the internal pranayama which I was talking about. So if you want to elaborate further, you can.
No,
You know what?
it's very
So-
complex. It's essentially nothing like it. Essentially, there are 5 vayus: Pran, Apan, Ban, Udan, and Saman. Now, those 5 vayus has been split into. What happened to the slide? Yeah. So, in each part of the body, these 5 vayus have been split into 49. So basically there are 49 vayus, but these are smaller vayus, I can say. Mukhya vayu or the main vayus are 5 only. And out of that, prana and apana, if you still, by doing antarmukhi pranayam, internal pranayam, all the vayus of your body will be stilled. You don't have to bother anything. So just keep on doing pranayam. Once you attain Khechari Mudra, I think you have explained. So once you attain
You can
Khechari,
see the macrocosm in your microcosm.
you can go up
Can you
to
imagine?
hundreds or
It's so
thousands of
beautiful.
pranayams. No event. Sitting in one asana, but it's not that you do 20 pranayams, get up, go to the washroom and come back and again sit and try doing it. No.
Okay, now as we had digressed a little bit. So Keyur or Rajesh, whoever it is, Rajesh, if you want to volunteer. Yeah. So Maushami, you just come and feel his chest, feel his stomach. Just facing the audience, of course. The audience. Yeah. Say this to the audience. The chest does not heave, it's the stomach which heaves. So this is happening only after the gradual stilling. Already he is stilled. You know. Another thing, we all are Christians. I want to say, and you're also a Muslim. I guess you're a Muslim.
For me?
Yeah?
No.
You're not. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway. Very small thing I want to speak to you. You are Catholics or Protestants? Anyway, whatever. Now, in the prayer, Our Father, what do we say? In the name of the Father, the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay. Now, Father, this is the Kuttast. Mind you, Jesus came to India and he learned Kriyayoga, but he did not disseminate. Holy, in the name of the Father, the Son, the Anahata Chakra, as I was saying. Very, very important, because this is going to annihilate the demoniacal propensities of a human being, if you can overcome this. And the Holy Spirit, this is the Omkar Chakra, which is done in a reverse motion. For the Muslims, sorry, I'm very sorry, again.
No problem.
Okay, because I mean your surname, I thought you were sorry for that.
No problem.
So, I will tell you another thing.
In case you are trying to copy this diagram, I give you a better suggestion. This diagram has been drawn by Yogiraj Shyamacharan himself when he got the initiation from his guru. So all the Mukhya Vayu or the smaller Vayus have been indicated here in this diagram. It is available in Yogiraj Granthavali, Volume 1, Vedanta Darshan. There are 4 chapters there. And out of that Vedanta Darshan chapter, this diagram is available.
Okay, now regarding the Muslim community, you see that's why I said that Kriya Yoga transcends all creeds. or geographical boundaries. Please mark my words. It's not my words. It's the words of Guruji, the words of Lahiri Mahasaya. Now, so we notice two things. I'm very briefly talking to Christians. You have the 12 disciples of Jesus. Actually, why 12 and why not? Judas Iscariot was the traitor, 13th one. So we don't talk about him. So that is going up 6 chakras down. Now for the Muslims, the muezzin calls for prayer at 3:34 a.m. in the morning. Yes or no? Everybody is aware of that. What does that indicate? Everybody sit down for the soul sadhana practice. It is beckoning everybody to actual meaning is that. The muezzin calling for prayers, but unfortunately today everything has got lost and everything is in a state of total disarray. I should not speak more. Let's stop at this. So, then again, when the Islam community sits for their when they do their namaz, they kneel down. Okay, so that is also one form of Mahamudra. That has been a little bit, they have sort of slightly distorted it, but that is also a form of Mahamudra. So Prophet Muhammad also knew this Kriya Yoga, but he did not preach it. And I don't want to talk further. Let's stop at this. So, what I want to say here is that Kriya Yoga is a beautiful science, a pristine holy science belonging to the world. It is for one and everybody. This is the first thing which I want to say. But you have to be the human being. Why? You need to have the spinal cord. Animals, the other, they don't have that
Vertical
vertebrates.
spinal cord.
Yeah, the vertical.
Everybody has a spinal
Yeah, the vertebrates. Yeah, the non-vertebrates are also there. of
Vertical
course.
spinal cord is a must.
It has to be a vertical spine. That is why we are the supremest creation of God.
Monkey.
Sorry?
Does monkey have the vertical?
Monkeys, half the time
Monkeys,
they are bending
apes.
over, leaning forward.
Not really.
Okay.
Because they
We-
are
we have
very,
come
very
from that
kinetic.
gene. You are talking about monkeys, no?
Yeah, the ape
Okay.
primates.
The ape family, actually, the humans have come from that. But
They
then-
are not always sitting still. Okay? Sometimes they are when they are trained to, but then essentially they are not. So they will never be able to practice this. Human beings being the greatest creation of God, they are the only, they can only do this. Wealth is for them. You just need to be a human being. That's all. And become a yogi. Hey Bharat. Now, any questions from anybody?
Yes, yes, Professor Satya has some questions.
Okay, very well. Of course. Wonderful. I think you can take this.
Oh, we have a spare mic.
There's another one. Give him 4 or 5 of them. You take 3 mics. That's what I'm saying.
It's a wonderful presentation. Give a very big hand. I have some questions. You mentioned sometime that people practicing Kriya Yoga did not get COVID. Did not get COVID, right?
Corona, yeah.
And the corona.
Yeah, sure.
And paradoxically, Dr. Balram Singh got it. He got the COVID. Instead of the fact that he was doing Kriya Yoga, he taught, he teaches, preaches, practices, still he got it. So,
I appreciate that.
so there is no, it's not that people who do Kriya Yoga will not get COVID.
No, but
That is
I'll tell you one thing.
There is
sir.
any documentary evidence for that?
Sorry, come again.
Is there any documentary evidence?
Documentary evidence is you're absolutely here about it.
No, just asking, you know.
No, what do you mean by documentary
I mean,
evidence?
is there any research being done that people who have done Kriya Yoga have they got it or not, and so on.
We have not got it.
Definitely appreciate his advice.
Okay. And that's one paradox.
I did one thing though.
Yes,
I
sir.
did not take any medication
Okay.
at all.
Okay,
And
that's
in
very
part that may be a period of it.
Okay.
I did get it, but I did not have to take any medication.
Okay,
I'm
that's-
operational every day.
Yeah, that's very
Still
good.
going around.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that goes to say.
yeah, that's very good.
You did not take vaccine or not?
No, I had taken vaccine, I still have.
Yeah.
So the vaccine also failed.
So vaccine didn't work. Okay. My question is about the word prana. Prana came from Sanskrit, not English.
Of course.
But you mentioned the acronym E stands for this.
I have to.
R stands for.
For the sake of comprehension,
Okay,
for
that's
the
right.
people who do not understand Sanskrit.
Okay.
This is
I am.
spoken in
Yeah,
English.
they got right.
Yes.
I'm a business professor. As a business professor, my acronym like this: P for profit, R for rate of return investment, A for asset acquisition, N for net worth increase, A for appreciate our company. So we can have any kind of interpretation by using
You can
acronyms.
suit yourself, sir.
No, no,
And you can definitely suit yourself.
No, no.
Welcome to suit
no,
yourself.
no. What I am saying is,
But,
what I am, no, my point is, of course, your point is well
my
taken.
point is nothing.
No,
What I had to say because
No, no,
we have
no.
experienced it.
Please
No, no,
let him
no.
ask the question.
no.
Yes, please go ahead, ask the
No,
question.
man. You see, I'm not criticizing. What I'm saying is,
Not at all.
the Sanskrit word, when we translate it to English, we have our own interpretation, depending on how to convince people and so on. And that's an observation. I'm not saying you're wrong. People can
That was the
have,
maximum which could be done because our language is very rich.
yeah,
Unfortunately, the English language is very
yeah, that's right.
confined.
That's right.
Yes.
But that's okay. And one last question is,
Yes.
I'm sorry about my tone. My
Yes.
tone is because of the COVID vaccine side effect. Because of side effect, my left vocal cord got paralysis. That's why I'm not able to speak.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. And my one important question is,
Yes.
you mentioned India is a spiritual capital.
Sorry? Yes, of course.
Spiritual capital.
Yes, yes, sure.
So, I think most of the people are spiritual in nature. If that is so, if all the people practice spiritualism, why Mahabharata happened?
Why you don't?
Why Mahabharata happened? Mahabharata is that.
Why
Why Mahabharata?
Yes. Why did Mahabharata happen?
Yeah, why?
Mahabharata had to happen, that is why it happened. What is taught in the, excuse me sir,
Yeah,
let's
please.
make it complete. What does the battle of Mahabharata indicate? What is it actually, in actuality? In Kurukshetra, we have the Kurukshetra, which is the battlefield. Okay? Okay? Okay. Now, it is the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The battle between the Pandavas and the Kauravas, that is what the Mahabharata is all about. Now, what is the allegorical interpretation of the Kauravas and the Pandavas?
Yogic interpretation.
Yes, the allegorical yogic interpretation. This is why Bharat is a spiritual dhamma. Because Bharat and yoga are complementary, inextricable to each other. Kauravas denote the intense sensory orientations, the sensory attachment, the prabritti paksh. Pandavas indicate the sensory detachment, the nibritti paksh. So this battle was waged in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Now what is this Kurukshetra? Since you asked, then I have to elaborate, I have to give you the yogic vyakhyan, which is the yogic explanation. So Kshetra means region, Kshetra means land, and Kuru means what? The Karshan Kriya. Karshan means what? The cultivation. So, this Kurukshetra the battle, this is the battle, this is the external battle, the historical battle, which had to be fought because Bhagwan Krishna wanted to punish the demons. So Vinashayam Dushkritam Paritranayam Sadhunam. Okay? So for Vinash, the Kauravas sought their own downfall. So the Kurukshetra battle is the battle between the sensory attachment and the sensory detachment, which is the Pravritti Paksh and the Nivritti Paksh. And this Kurukshetra battle is within us. We are fighting that battle each and every day in our lives. What is that? That is the battle between controlling our senses or falling a victim of our senses. That is greed, covetousness, anger, malice, so on and so forth. So this battle had to be waged. And this is why Bharat is the spiritual capital. It had to be fought in Bharat. It could not have been fought in any other country. Because Bharat is...
The southern is actually from Bharat.
Sorry?
The southern is from
Yes,
Bharat.
no, because Bharat is the precursor. Bharat is the forerunner. Bharat has to show the world. Spirituality to the world has to be shown from Bharat, no other country. Never will happen. Bhagwan marks his advent only in Bharat. Ram, Bhagwan Krishna, then all the yogis, Yogiraj, all came to Bharat. But Yogiraj had so many Christian disciples. He had Muslim disciples. Of course, he had disciples from the florist of the Kashi temple, from the constables to the tanners, to the milkman, to the low caste, the downtrodden, to the Rajas of Burdwan, Kashi, Nepal. Along with that, he had a lot of Britishers as his disciples. So, Kriya Yoga is essentially all-encompassing, all-embracing. You know? So, this is why the battle had to be fought. And what is this Karshan? Karshan means when you see in our land, India, Bharat is essentially an agricultural country. So the plow is used. So that is tilling the land. Karshan Kriya is what we do through this pranayam. We are tilling our inside, making it fertile and fertile and fertile. This is the analogy. You get what I mean, sir?
It's all available in Granthavali first volume.
Can I?
Yes, of course, Doctor.
Can I just supplement my colleagues? This is a perspective. You are a practitioner of Kriya Yoga, you have attained status. Most of us have not. So how do you bring those people who are, like I'm a chemist, I can explain everything you just said from chemistry. I can say the Britishers came to India because they wanted to have colonized so that they can get the spirituality from us. That's my interpretation, and that will look like silly because they did not come there to practice spirituality, although they did get some. I am a chemist, I have everybody from Britain, from every caste, every religion have been my students. And I have very good relations with them, really. But I'm a chemist, I'm not a Kriya Yoga. I mean, I've taught Kriya Yoga, also there are so many other people have to come to that too. But that does not help us who are not there where you are. Can you help us? I think that's part of the question that is being asked.
Yeah, what is it? To give the recipe.
It's not that.
What is forbidden? I cannot-
No, it's not a recipe. It's not, I mean, you're misunderstanding. It's not a
Then?
question of recipe.
Then?
If you have a child you were talking about, it doesn't cry, then you spank it.
Yes.
But we're not giving recipe. So here everybody is child and we are not crying from your terms, so please spank us.
No. It's nothing like that. Another thing, sir, Dr. Singh. Ayodhya. You belong to Ayodhya.
Yeah.
What is the yogic interpretation of Ayodhya? Can you tell me? Ayodhya.
There is no yogic.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, it
Warless state, that is the state where you have conquered all the sensory propensities, the vices, everything. And you are Ayodhya. So, Dr. Balaram Singh has conquered everything. So, he is the supremacist.
Except that
Supremacist. So, he will provide the answer.
except when they are meant to break the mask, there was a big crowd going with big youth was going on between the police and everybody else. So, I mean, I think youth is youth is not necessarily a bad thing, as long as, like you said, Mahabharata happened for a reason. So
It had to happen.
Professor Gupta wants to ask. Professor, you want to ask some questions?
No, I'm just looking for who else has a question. That's the mic. I don't.
About you.
No, you can give the mic to each one of them so they can.
No, if anybody has a
If at all.
question, raise their hand, yeah.
Go ahead.
So then the mic can go to them.
So you showed us the slides which had those numbers on it, 100,000, 10,000, and goes down in the powers of 10.
Yes.
What is that measuring? Is that measuring the number of breaths in a year? Is that measuring some kind of frequency? What is it, the
It is
unit?
the frequency, no breaths here.
Frequency
Yes,
of,
the level of vibrations. It is the level of the state of kineticism in which you are embroiled in. So at the 100,000 level of vibrations, you are at the acme, the apex of all the sensory propensities. You are jealous.
so those are
You
different stages. So it's
you
not
are-
something per second. There's not like really units attached to it.
No.
It's more the stages and how you're classifying it.
Yes, of course, yes.
Then, does the state of Bharat have anything to do with anything geographical? Because I find a contradiction there.
It does.
It doesn't
What is
have
the
to.
contradiction?
The contradiction is that it doesn't have to geographically come from a place or a country the way you explained it, Bharat, it's really a state of being.
Yes.
And so the state of being
Fine.
can be geographical,
Fine.
but it doesn't have to be.
Yes.
The state of being can be inside a
The
human.
boundaries. I was talking about the boundaries. You can transcend the boundaries. Okay. Bharat is essentially the name of a yogi. You
Right.
are Bharat. It means you are practicing the Kriyayoga. Now, as you have asked me, that why not any other country? Anybody can be a Bharat. The map of Bharat itself is so very spiritual. Why? I have not spoken. Since you asked me, I'm going to answer you. Thank you for your question. We have the map of Bharat, you just imagine. And I don't know how to
Can you go to slide?
get the
See,
slide
let me
of
find
Bharat.
out.
Yeah.
Please.
It is just like a human being with his arms outstretched. Okay? Now, what is the topography of Bharat? On the top, you have the Himalayas. And down south, you have the turbulent ocean. So, what does this signify? The Muladhar, the turbulent, raging sea. And you go up, and attain the state of stillness, the Himalayas, which is the serene, tranquil, placid state. Another reason why Bharat is important, the map of Bharat, the country of Bharat is important, is because all of us have 3 parts of water. So Bharat is surrounded by sea on 3 sides. Now, a very important fact is, for any infiltration to happen, it is very difficult because the seas and the mountains. Similarly, as I said, the map of Bharat resembles the human shape. Therefore, with the arms outstretched, yes. Therefore, to practice this yoga sadhana, internalized is also difficult if you are not at one with it, if you are not in sync with it. But the moment you get it and you are at it and you are diligently practicing it, you are done. You have to diligently practice it till the end of your life, till your last breath. Sorry? Yeah. And what is required? Shraddha, Bhakti, Viswas, which is respect, devotion, and faith, devotion, and respect, reverence for the prana. Anybody, any other questions?
Any other questions, please?
The senior citizens.
Too many questions.
Yeah, you can go ahead.
No.
Why not? You need to clarify. I need to understand.
No, there is so much that resonates when you
Of course,
that it has to be processed a little bit.
Right.
To my own practice and meditation.
Right.
So I will process. I will take in so much of what you said and what you're teaching, and having been familiar a little bit in curiosity about Kriya Yoga before, and now maybe getting a little more insight.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
It will. I speak softly.
Speak through the mic, please.
Maybe now, after having a little bit of insight into Kriya Yoga before, but not understanding the whole practice, but some of the, when you explain it, like, you give examples, that gives me an insight, a different insight, which is very helpful. And I have done meditative practice for many, many years. This needs to be processed with me.
Fine. I appreciate what you said. I've understood what you said. But can I make a humble submission here? My earnest, ardent request is, you can do the processing, but that is through the kinetic mind, but please go to an authenticated, authorized guru. Don't try to do it yourself. It is extremely detrimental. I know. I speak from experience. I speak for your benefit. I wish you all the best, madam. But don't try to, you're wanting to understand, you wanting to recapitulate, you're wanting to inhere of what has been spoken. I do appreciate that. But if you really are interested, you should go to the right guru. One who is not a self-made guru, one who has been authorized into this.
Proper lineage.
Yeah, with the proper lineage. That is very important. That's all I want to tell you.
How about many gurus?
Sorry, come again?
How about many gurus?
Many gurus, right?
I have many.
I know that.
Gurus.
I know that.
That's right.
I know that.
They've served me in different ways throughout my life.
Correct.
And I will have many more.
No,
I hope.
my point here is, may I know your name, please?
Pardon?
Name.
Jerry.
Jerry. Okay. So, Mr. Jerry, I have understood what you've told me. You've had many gurus. You will be having many gurus. Now, the thing is that, if you are happy with what you have, you can carry on. But at the end of the day, you will have to question yourself whether you have come across or whether you have been one-on-one with this Brahma sadhan, with this Kriya Yoga sadhan, with this Atma Vidya, with this Brahma Vidya, with this Prana sadhan. That is very important. I also, because as I said, we've got 4 decades of experience, and we do not want to speak disparagingly, don't get me wrong. But we know what things are, how things are, why things are. And we've got a lot of experience in this. This is why it's our earnest request. You can read the books about Rahari Maharshaya. Without knowing Lahiri Mahashaya, you cannot practice Kriya Yoga. I can make it very important because he is the fundamental. I will never be able to forget the root. I cannot practice Kriya Yoga by dishonoring the root. The root may have several branches. I cannot worship the branch. I will have to stick on to the root.
See,
Then only I will follow the right path.
this
The root only will guide you. It will not make you confused.
I have been going through for the last 40 years. Every line, every paragraph has a new meaning every day as I keep on practicing Kriya. Because number one, it is very complex. It's not easy to understand. It is almost like reading a book.
One question.
While you're getting the microphone, I just want to say, Professor Yogiraj Shyamacharan is a PhD in psychology, right? Psychology, and he has been teaching and doing research, written several papers and articles. So he's quite familiar with some of the phenomenon that happens in this world and not able to understand. And I'm very grateful to know that.
Yeah, I have one question, and I think it came from my friend Satya. But basically, I want to find out, you see, the ultimate objective of any yoga, Kriya Yoga, number one, is that the only path to achieve the end, that means merging with the Brahma? Is that your method you are preaching is the only one, or there are alternative methods? People can go to those things like Jerry.
Alternative methods in which discipline?
The Kriya Yoga that you are teaching, is that
Now, I understand your question, Professor Roy. Unfortunately, I don't want to be very blunt. I don't want to be blunt, but truth is bitter. I have spoken the answer in this.
You got it with that.
That's exactly what I wanted to say. My answer is done.
No, actually, to put it in a different way, you mentioned that to put an end to the life, but life.
Sorry, come again?
Life, but death, life cycle.
Yep, yes.
To put an end to the cycle, you mentioned Kriya Yoga is the best one. So is it the only one to end the life, death, birth cycle, or are there any other ways?
Excuse me.
Yeah.
You are interpreting it as the only one. Okay? You are interpreting it as the only one. Now, I have an objection.
I did not.
I don't know. I am going to talk in sync with what you are saying. It's a good question you asked. You see, is it the only one? Now, at the very outset of my speech, I had mentioned that it is the eternal, pristine science. So what is eternal cannot be the only one. It is, I meant to say, it has to be the only one. I don't want to speak much. You accept it or you leave it. In Bengali, we have a saying, "Joto mot, toto pot." But that is not correct. It's unfortunately not correct. Kriya Yoga is much, much superior, much more sublime. Many paths, all paths lead to Rome. It's not so. Lahiri Mahashaya has also said in his quotations in Puran that whichever way you are trying to reach me, all paths can reach me, but you will not get the salvation. You will have to keep on coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And that is certainly not desirable. We don't understand. We think that, well, okay, life is a bed of roses, a bed of thorns, no worries. We will suffer the consequences, we will enjoy life. But why not come back again? We need to be, we have originated from the still Brahman state. So we need to go back there, and that is the actual blissful state. The indescribable, the inexplicable state. So Joto Mot Toto Pot is not, I mean, many opinions can lead to many paths. That is not correct.
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
I think that is a path that is accepted by
I know.
many, and
Many, but many are also digressing from that.
And-
Professor Roy.
and whatever
That
I know.
essentially a fad among the Bengalis. If you
Yes.
don't mind me saying so, in Bengali,
I am proud to be a Bengali.
Can I
It's not
speak in
that.
Bengali? You understand?
I'm a Bengali, she's a Bengali, Professor
I can
Sendu is a
understand
Bengali,
Bengali
Professor
very
Roy is a
clearly.
Bengali.
Ramakrishna
I'm proud to
Dev
be
is
a
very
Bengali.
popular in West Bengal.
I am the Audhi guy, let me tell you.
Sorry?
Hari Anand, Hari Katha Ananda. Good. So he's not only Bengali, he's in Audhi also they say that.
Yes.
So Pat Mat.
So do you have an Audi also? Joto Mot Toto Pot?
The same thing. I mean, Hari Anand, Hari Katha Ananda.
What I
Kaha
am
Sunai
saying
Gauri
is
is
that
also.
your interpretation of Kriyayoga is one of the
Excuse me,
most
Professor Roy.
exalted type. to
It is
reach
not
the
exalted,
state.
it
But
is not.
Ramakrishna Paramahansa, he taught that you can reach the roof of a house. Either
He is
by
definitely evolved,
climbing steps,
but he was not a Kriya
or
Yogi.
through the rope, or.
I'm a Bengali, Professor Roy, I know everything about
So,
Mathamito.
Professor Roy.
He may differ, what I'm saying.
I am not differing, I'm a Bengali and I'm proud to be one.
No, but I'm saying, yeah, well, better be proud, but Bengal has.
Good thing Bengalis have
What,
in front of God.
what India thinks today,
What
Bengal
of the-
thinks tomorrow, was said by Gokhale.
And Bengalis have produced a lot of.
Yes, Rabindranath Tagore.
Not only that, even in your yogi, Brahmananda and all those, Paramahansa Yogananda himself was Bengal.
West Bengal.
So,
But you're not saying anything about Punjabi, sir?
It could have been Punjabi in some other life.
Guru Nanak. Guru
No,
Nanak.
he was also Kriya Yogi. He was also Kriya
Guru
Yogi.
Nanak was a Kriya
Guru Granth
Yogi.
It
Sahib.
was in Punjabi.
So I
Then-
think we need
He was a
to have
Punjabi.
some kind of a compromise. because
No
everybody-
compromise, sir.
everybody-
Kriya Yoga, what is eternal? What is indivisible? You cannot divide. So compromise
why
means a
It is
divisibility.
essential. We read the Granthavali edited by Yogiraj himself. He has done the yogic bhashyas for 26 Shastra Granthas, including Japji, Nanaka, Bhagavad Gita, all the Ashtavakra Samhita, most of the Upanishads,
Alamsar.
सब कुछ किए हैं. But all of them are yogic bhashyas.
All.
Okay, and he has also
Yoga
mentioned
is the backbone of
Shankaracharya's
India.
bhashyas are on the external side. My bhashya is on the internal side because Kriya Yoga is internal.
I think what you are interpreting is a very limited.
Not at all,
way of
sir.
interpretation.
Sorry,
You
sir.
follow that.
It's your
I think
confined
I think
thinking.
better for you.
Anyway, I don't
This is
want-
one of the
No, I cannot say that. What is wrong is wrong.
But you
I cannot. You accept it, you leave it. That's up to you.
He has left it here.
I
What is the problem?
He's leaving it.
First of all, you are saying that it is more logical.
Yes, of
more
course.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So 2 plus 2 is 4.
Yes.
And 3 plus 1 is also 4.
Yes.
And 1 plus, 2 plus 4 is 4.
This is Joto
So
Mot
there are
Toto Pot.
ways to reach
This
the
is
point.
your Joto Mot
Joto
Toto
Mot
Pot.
Toto
Is
Pot.
it?
Why not, sir? Why not?
Therefore, we know that there are other ways. Not only that.
I have a slight variation on this.
Okay.
There's also the Upanishadic saying, Ekam Sat Vipra Bodha. Truth is one.
Yes.
I think about the truth, about the infinite, there can be no doubt. But surely Vipra Bodha, many learned people call it by different
Many learned people call it the.
call it by different
Many
names,
ways.
which we are interpreting here as paths.
Yeah.
I do appreciate what you're saying. My only contention here is that Kriya Yoga, as I said, is transcending all religions, everything. It is transcending all cults, all sects, all isms, all paths.
Ekam Sat.
Ekansana sthita jagat. You will have, see, if not this birth, maybe after 100 births, you will have to practice this Kriya Yoga.
What was
There
your
is
question,
no
sir?
other alternative.
I have a
Yes,
one more
Professor
question.
Terry. Yes.
And my question is, how can I be of service to you in your process? You've come here and you've been of service to me in my process. How can I be of service to you?
How do you want to be a service to us? That depends on that. And you have to
How can I be of service to you? That's my question.
how do you want to be of service to us?
How can I be of service to you?
Yes, how do you want? Of course, and I am also returning the question to you, that how do you want to be of service to us?
I have
How?
no answer.
Huh? Excuse me?
I have no answer.
Then I have no answer either.
Okay.
All right, with that, let us proceed towards refreshments.
No,
Let
no,
us hand.
being of service means that my only request is you can purchase the books. The trilogy on Lahiri Masha.
And read them.
Let's continue
You
the conversation.
purchase the books and you read them, please. Purchasing is one thing and reading them is something else.
Dr. Sengupta, আজকের demonstration আপনারা যেটা বলছিলেন সেটা কি
I had thought of it as a community kind of participation demonstration.
community?
All of us.
Some practice, yeah.
But that's okay, that's okay. Fine. So let us proceed towards refreshments and let us thank the speakers one more time.